Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to talk about MySQL telemetry and specifically OpenTelemetry logging that we added in the MySQL 9-point release. My name is Mike Frank and I'm a MySQL Product Management Director at Oracle. All right, so I'm going to start out with a little diagram here. So basically in the MySQL D in our executable, and we run as one executable, we have instrumented the server so that we can emit our error log information, and we do this out through the OTel libraries that we get from the OpenTelemetry Cloud Native Compute Foundation. And by default, this is going to emit an OTLP protocol data stream. And in this example, I have installed an OpenTelemetry local collector, and I'll show you how I configured it, and then I'll explain how the YAML configuration works so that you can take data out of MySQL for the error logs and stream it into various backends that accept logging. And this is, when you've got a lot of MySQL servers running your organization, really you can't sit and watch every single one of them. And sometimes when they're in HA or DR mode, you need to be able to look at logs together. And so this allows you to do that. All right, so let's look at a few things. So let me log in. So first of all, I ran install component file component telemetry. Now it's already loaded. If you wanted to know what's loaded in your components, you can tell that. And once I load a component, and then I can see the variables that it adds into the MySQL system, right? And so here I can see that with the OpenTelemetry exporter, I can set various things, right? And the local endpoint is just set to localhost 4318 v1 logs, right? And that's what the OpenTelemetry Collector listens on by default. So I'm not going to need to change that. But if I was using a third-party application, or if the collector wasn't local, that's where I would put in, the IP address here in the endpoint, and I would also add headers to authenticate myself. Most of the other things you don't really need to change, but certainly you can. We're just exposing the standard things that you get. Now, if I log off of this, let me certainly Control D. All right. So let me make sure I'm right in the right directory. All right. So I have got this file that I set up to run for logging. So let's look at that file real quick. Okay, and so what this says, it says that I'm going to receive only OTLP, only OpenTelemetry line protocol, right? So I'll accept it from anywhere, right? And this could be defined further. You could receive more type of formats that this supports. And then here I can go in and I can define different places. And so the case is that I'm just going to write to a file. So I had actually set up earlier where I was writing my traces to this file, and I was writing my error logs here. I put 2, you could put /log or something like that. I think that's what I put in the blog. And so what this says is, okay, we're going to receive here, we're going to be able to send out to this, but nothing happens with defining that. And by the way, we're going to use the default batch processor, which just makes things more efficient. But then down here, I define my pipeline. And in my pipeline, I say, okay, yeah, I'm going to receive, the OTLP logs. I'm going to process it with batch, right? So I'm going to send it efficiently. And I'm going to export it to file/2. And file/2, in this case, is just this error JSON file. So then after that, and let me move my screen around a little bit. All right, so I'm going to quit here. And so I can run this file, right? And so I think over in this screen here, right, I can run the OpenTelemetry Collector, right? And I just installed that, and I've given it this file that I just had, and so it's going to start running, right? And so then if I did something like MySQL type in a bad password, right? That's going to throw an error to my log file. And so now, right, I'll see that that log file got updated, right? And so now if I sort of like say I grep for fail. On that error log, I think this will give me some lines of code, right? And so now I can see where I've failed, so that denied with password, and I can also say I get a lot of different values in here, and so I know where this came from, I know how it got there, I know what host it came from, I know what user, lots of data in the standard format that can now be consumed. And so this is obviously very handy. It's really not that hard to set up. One little hint, don't use tabs in a YAML file, and hopefully this helps you sort of understand how this works. Thanks for using MySQL.